It is time. It's time. Time for a show. Time to be awake. Time to start the day. Time to be annoyed by a cat. All of these things. No, I don't want you on me. I gotta drink coffee. If you have a cat, you understand. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday. It's October 15th, 2020. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee, and I have a cat in my lap now. I'm drinking it guardedly. Oh, too much salt in the coffee this morning, Jeremy. Not by a lot, just a little bit. Just a little bit too much. It's all right. Can you lay down? This isn't going to work if you don't lay down. Tune into First Cup every morning, where I get in a fight with a cat. I hope you had a good Wednesday. Are you going to sit over there? Because that's fine. Stay over there. No, she's coming back. For anybody who shows up like at this point in the show and they've never seen the show before, they're going to assume the worst, because this part is kind of the worst, because everybody has to get settled. Can you lay down? How was your Wednesday? Mine was really good, really productive. I plowed through work yesterday. Got a bunch done. Went and had an acupuncture session. Went to Panera for 3 hours. Had some coffee and some lunch, and just did a ton of work. Mostly email, but a bunch of other things too. And it went really well. Went to the bank, came back here, did more work, and was done about 3. Had a call at 4, so I couldn't quite call it a day. But that call at 4 is turning into a new client, it looks like. At least a probationary sort of client. I've got to show some proof and some numbers first. But if all goes well, this will be, by reach, our biggest client. My biggest client. Not martial arts related. But also my first client outside of New England. Someone in California. So it was a good day. Went to the gym, had a good time there. Mostly because I played with the dog. The gym has a dog. So on most days it's at least 10, some days as much as 50% of the reason I go to the gym. That's a big man. Well, what's today got in store? More of the same. Got a call. Birthday dinner with a couple friends. Not my birthday. Other friends. Other friend is having birthday. And just work in between. I think it's supposed to be really warm. I think when I looked at the weather yesterday, it was supposed to be like mid-70s. Which, for October in Vermont, that's pretty darn warm. Oh, it's Thursday. Episode should be out. Today is supposed to be the broadcast, audio rebroadcast of Whistlekick Live. Let's see if that came through yet. What we're calling Season 2. We're putting them into years. Years or seasons. Videos. Yep. Whistlekick Live, Season 2, Episode 1. Views on First Cup have been going up. And I want to shout out Frank for that. We've been doing some kind of back-end optimization stuff, and it's leading to a few more views. And yesterday, somebody new subscribed to the channel. So yay. Thank you, people. If you want to hang out with a guy drinking coffee, turning every bit of what you write into some conversation about martial arts, you are in the right place. If you want to be frustrated that he pays too much attention to his cat during a live stream and that the show's on way too early, you are also in the right place. because that's what's going on. Oh, I cut my hair last night because it was getting too long. When I can start to see the spots that it's thinning on the sides, that's when it's too long. I'm okay with everybody knowing this. This is fine. Like, this is obvious. But when it starts doing weird things in there and it looks like, and this is no disrespect, but when it looks like I'm starting, I've got alopecia coming on, then let's just trim it down. Whistlekick Live has been fun. Had a good call with Gabe and Andrew on Tuesday talking about it, and got some really cool stuff set up. I upgraded the software that we use for next time, and if you watch that show, if you watch this show, if you watch any of the stuff that we do at Whistlekick, you'll see that it gets better. It grows. We find ways to improve it because that is if you were to take the martial arts philosophy into business, that's what it would be, right? Slow, steady, iterative, 1% better progress every time you do something. And if you keep that up, you get pretty good at things. How many grandmaster, black belt, expert, undefeated world champions started off that way? None of them. They had to work at it. They have a work ethic. You had to get there and bring that into business. And I think that that's pretty great. And bring it into everything. Look at all these mats coming off you. It's the only time she really sits on my lap, so it's the time I have to groom her. We're doing like triple duty here. I'm drinking coffee, grooming the cat, talking to you. I guess it's those three things. Anything else happening today? I'm gonna try and get outside. Maybe go for a walk. If it's gonna be as nice as the weather says. Open the windows, air out the place. I'm running through life and the last couple days and what today is going to be, and seeing it. Is there anything I can talk about before I turn to the questions and the comments? And I don't think there is today. Let's not force it. Let's just see what you all wrote in. And in case you're new, if you want to write something in, you wait until the show is closed and then you drop it below. Or if you're listening in audio later, because we have people who listen to this as a podcast, it is available. Not usually right away, but a couple days later. You can email me, jeremy@whistlekick.com. And that's how you ask me a question or leave me a comment or a quote. Frank likes leaving quotes. And here we go. Today, Thursday, October 15th, 2020, is Conflict Resolution Day. Oh, we got 6 quotes. I don't know if I'm going to get through all these. Let's see. Number 1, it is the eternal struggle between these two principles, right and wrong. They are the two principles that have stood face to face from the beginning of time and will ever continue to struggle. It is the same spirit that says, you work and toil and earn bread, and I'll eat it. Abraham Lincoln. Right and wrong. I believe very strongly that we all come really, really close to agreeing what is right and wrong. I believe that the majority of people who steal, let's take that as an example, know it is wrong. It's not wrong because it's illegal, but they know that it's wrong. Now, they justify it. They find mental gymnastics to work through to make it happen, to permit themselves to do it. Some of them, they need it, as they say. Maybe because they're poor and they want to eat, or maybe because they are addicted to drugs and they want drugs. The why doesn't matter. We've all been in circumstances where we've done something that we knew was wrong, but we made excuses, even to ourselves. If you listen to that voice, that conscience, that whatever you call it, we know what's right and wrong. We know how we're supposed to treat people, but we make excuses. Right and wrong, it's another way of saying love and fear. When someone is acting wrong, wrongly, they are acting from a place of fear. I would say all but 100% of the time. Someone steals, they're stealing because they're afraid of something. They're afraid of not having something. It's fear. Live from a place of love. Find love. And I've got some thoughts on conflict resolution, of course, and martial arts, and we'll see which of these quotes brings them at me. Do not think of knocking out another person's brains because he differs in opinion from you. I think y'all need to hear that. The world needs to hear that. It would be as rational to knock yourself on the head because you differ from yourself 10 years ago. Horace Mann. Oh, hey, we got Daniel in the chat. What's up, Dan? Did you know that if you took all the veins out of your body and laid them end to end on the ground, you'd die? Someone I know turned themselves in for burglary. They were convicted, but they had a clean conscience about it. Boom. That shows a tremendous amount of growth. That's a lot of character there. I've got respect for that. I've learned when you screw something up, you own it. It was a trivial moment, but I'll share it. Over the weekend, when I was down at caretaking at the farm, there was a mini trampoline in the place I was staying, and I bounced on it a few times because it's a trampoline, so why not? One of the springs broke. One of the many springs broke. Now, I could tell this wasn't a brand new trampoline. It was, some of the supports on the feet were, the rubber had aged a bit. I could have easily just left it as is. No one would have known. And for a split second, I said, is that the right decision? And then it became really obvious. No, it's not the right decision. You got to own up to your mistake. And so I started to write out a text to say, hey, this happened. I'm sorry. I'll pay to fix it. And then I said, no, I've got to do better than that. And I did the research I needed, went on Amazon, found a replacement spring, ordered it to their house. I think it was delivered yesterday. So they've got to put the spring back in, but I did as much of it as I could have. If I lived closer, I would have fixed it myself. But 2 hours drive to fix a spring. I didn't think they would mind doing it. Back to this. Let me read it again. Do not think of knocking out another person's brains because he differs in opinion from you. It would be as rational to knock yourself on the head because you differ from yourself 10 years ago. This is the thing I don't get right now. Like we're justifying our hatred or whatever, frustration with other people by pointing to things they said and did a time ago. I'm 41. You go back far enough and you're gonna find me peeing the bed, wearing diapers, being a toddler having a temper tantrum. I should no more be judged by that than the things that I've moved on from in my 20s. I wasn't a great boss in my 20s. I held really high standards and I didn't know how to manage. If you were to judge my management skill by who I was then, you would never want to work for me. You would never want to be around me, to be honest. I was frustrated and angry and just trying to make things work. But I've grown, and we've all grown. I wish we'd stop doing that. Well, back in 1972, you said this thing. Well, it was 50 years ago. People grow, people change. If you're not, you're missing the point. Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. Marie Curie, aka Madame Curie. We've all heard the childhood quip, you have two ears and one mouth, you should listen twice as much. Right? Usually that came through from a parent or a teacher trying to get you to shut up. But think about that from a more macro level. What does a mouth do? A mouth expresses. It puts out. Ears receive. Eyes receive. Nose receives. Your mouth can receive in the form of taste. But if you think about our senses, they receive primarily. If we focus on that, we focus on the understanding of ourselves, of the world, of the people around us, sometimes that leads to some fear. But mostly, as you understand, you see that things are just happening. And we have a lot less control over a lot of what happens than we think we do. Human beings, not individually, but as a group, we're pretty arrogant. And I think the more we participate and observe, I think the more comfort, at least I take, being part of the world rather than feeling like I have to control it. Be like water, my friend, right? The Bruce Lee quote, go with the flow, same thing. There's a lot of quotes out there to push you in that direction. Fear leads to hate, hate leads to anger, the shadow of the dark side, that is Yoda. Yes, Daniel. Totally agree. Be leery of silence. Doesn't mean you won the argument. Often people are just busy reloading their guns. Shannon L. Alder. Arguments are pretty useless. They're pretty darn useless. I see people instigating arguments, and I don't understand. Because I can't remember the last time I heard someone say, you know, I got in an argument with this person and they completely changed my mind. It doesn't usually work that way. What happens far more often when two people get in an argument? Their fear of appearing wrong forces them to double down. We think about this in terms of conflict resolution. It's reinforcing the conflict. If you get into an argument with someone, maybe it's accidental. When someone argues with me, and it doesn't happen very much anymore because I don't allow the opportunities for people to argue with me, but let's say they do. People are constantly assuming my political views. And they're all wrong because my political views don't conform to any one of the two sides of a dichotomy that apparently we're supposed to live in. So people will pick a fight with me based on, they'll say, you must think this because of this trait or experience you've had. And I will sidestep, dodge, parry, whatever metaphor you want to use, and I'll try to understand their beliefs. I'll ask a lot of questions, almost an annoying amount of questions. People get frustrated at the questions I ask because I want to understand. If you're going to tell me that what you think is, that your opinion or belief or plan, whatever it is best, well, I want to understand it. I'm not just going to take your word for it. Now, if that happens to mean that afterward I'm going to argue you into a place of foolishness, well, then so be it. I've got high school debate trophies behind me. Somewhere back in Maine, there's well, hopefully there have been more, but at some point I won the school's first high school debate trophy. At my very first meet, it was all downhill from there. But I remember a lot of what I learned, and I know how to argue. But I don't like to argue. When I remain silent, I'm not necessarily loading up my guns. I'm probably tuned out. I don't like to argue. I definitely don't like to yell. I despise conflict. But if it's unavoidable, I will charge right in. And that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether that's verbal or written or if it came to it physical. I'm not gonna be wishy-washy about it. If it needs to happen, it's gonna happen. And if there are consequences for losing, I will not. Like this coming Monday, when I have to argue in front of the state arbitration board over my POS car in the lemon law process. I've got a whole binder of material. I will be arguing, as far as I know, I will be arguing against a bar-admitted attorney, and I will crush him or her. Because I've thought about, and you know what? This is a very martial arts way of handling this. I've thought about everything that they can say about me. Or, you know, what are all the arguments that they might make? What are all the techniques someone might attack you with? How do I defend those? How do you defend the techniques? And I've got good defenses. So, doesn't mean I get to make the decision, but I am sure this attorney is thinking, oh, some goofball from Vermont. I have to argue with him why his Mazda car sucks. I'll just read the back of these note cards and it'll be fine. Well, you haven't met me. We don't get harmony when everybody sings the same note. Oh, I like this. Only notes that are different can harmonize. The same is true with people. Steve Goodyear. Celebrate differences. Daniel says, to be fair, you can be a goofball. I sure can. The happier I am, the goofier I get. People that have seen me like really, you know, like on vacation. If you've ever seen me on vacation, you know, 6-7 days into a 10, 12, 14-day vacation, which hasn't happened often, I get kind of ridiculous when the pressure of the world is not on my shoulders. I get quite silly. Great cat. Remember when we were kids and we were taught to celebrate differences? Where are you going? Give me my shirt back. My robe. We were taught to celebrate the differences of people and encourage diversity. I don't mean in a structured way, but just, hey, that person does that differently. Let's learn more. Same thing's true in martial arts. If you have the chance to train with people who do things differently, different styles, learn from them. A lot of people are getting better at that. If you watch, I'm trying to think of a concrete example, and I'm not coming up with one, but I'm imagining fight scenes in movies. Most of the time, there are very similar fight styles occurring. Because, oh, here's a great example. Because it's, I suspect, easier to choreograph that way. But what about when you have very different styles? Like in a movie, like, say, Mortal Kombat, or Street Fighter, or The Quest, or what's the Van Damme one about Frank Dukes? That one. Whatever that one's called. Why am I spacing on that one? It's not Kickboxer, is it? No. Anyway, this is a challenge with the morning show. What time do people get up for, morning shows on network TV? When are they getting up? 2? 3? Ugh, I'd be struggling. When do they go to the bathroom? Because I'd be loaded up on coffee. We learn through differences. If we just plod along and everybody does everything the same around us, we don't learn, we don't improve, nothing gets better. Hunt out those differences, those things that may create conflict, and find a way to learn from them. Even if the other person doesn't learn from you, so what? That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to learn from them. And our final quote for the day. This was not too many. Thank you, Frank. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Winston Churchill. You ever been in a situation with a person where you felt strongly that they were wrong? Maybe you knew they were wrong, and you didn't say anything. That's okay. It's okay for people to be wrong. It's okay for all of us to be wrong. We're all wrong sometimes. It's our failings, our stumbles, the times we're wrong. Those are opportunities for growth. That's what makes life worth living. If we popped out with full understanding and a fully grown body and knew everything, the world would be boring. What would we be doing? I don't know. Not much. So, it's Conflict Resolution Day. So we'll work on the resolution part, not the conflict part. If you think about conflict as a fight, what's the best way to resolve a fight? You prevent it from happening. The only way to truly win a fight is to keep it from occurring. And as martial artists, we need to spend time developing those skills and teaching those skills. A self-defense course that doesn't spend any time working on diffusing situations and situational awareness is missing the point. It's a car without brakes. It's, I don't know, it's a coffee mug without a bottom. Misses the most important part. So the next time you're in a situation with conflict, try to take a step back. Maybe you have to literally take a step back and see how you can resolve things before they escalate too much. Thanks for watching. If you want to support the work that we do, go to whistlekick.com, make a purchase in the store. First cup 15 gets you 15% off, or consider supporting the Patreon, patreon.com/whistlekick. Exclusive content over there. The more you contribute, the more stuff you get access to. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, because we do this every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, weekdays. And if you have questions, drop them below once the show closes, and I'll answer them tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care.